Hello, hello. My name is Barbara J. Beckley, and you are at the Coaches Lounge. Yes, we are back. We are back, and I just want to greet everybody. Come in, just sit back, where you're at. And this is a wonderful thing. It's virtual, so you can be sitting in your house, in your kitchen, outside, whatever you're doing, and enjoy the Coaches Lounge with myself and spotlighted experts advice for life and business that I bring on. So, as I always tell people, I discovered this particular show. Yes, I did. I created this platform because I noticed that coaches, educators, mentors really don't get the love like they should. Don't get really spotlighted like they really need to be. Don't get that, okay, let me sit back and just explain to people what I do for others so you can kind of make that decision in your mind of who to bring into your world, into your life to coach you, to mentor you, to guide you, to give you information that you might not know, to get you out of your head saying, I know everything. And we all know we don't know everything. So we need people to come in in our lives and help us grow our empires, as I say, in our lives. But you need to make sure you're picking the right people, right? Because that's your baby. I always say your business, personal life, that's your baby. And you want to make sure you're making sure your baby's okay with others. They can play with others, right? So that's why you bring in the coaches to help you, be it if it's finance, health, personal growth, whatever it may be. And this is what this show does. This show brings in those particular experts, people that's really good in the lane of expertise, what they do. We have a conversation with them. You get a chance to meet them through the conversation. And then, as I always ask people, reach out to them if you need them. And if you know somebody else that needs that person, I always say to give that person that information. Just don't stop it with you. Just because you feel like, well, I don't really need that. That's not the one coach I really need. Well, you know what? You never know who needs that individual. So with that said, today we have a wonderful, and I always call the women that I bring on my show queens. I name them queens. I look at them as royalty. And we have a wonderful, amazing, tremendous queen today, Miss Sally Gideon. And she is going to talk about something that I'm going to be a little selfish here, that I'm interested in, that when I was meeting her and read her information that what she does for the world, she's a lighthouse of the world, when it comes to Spendthrift Trust. Now, you're probably saying, what does that entail? What does that help? What is that? Yes, well, this lady is the guru regarding really helping you and you understanding how to deal with money, taxes, investments, and a whole lot of other things that you might not have thought in a different way. She has a different spin with it, but it's a hidden gem. I'm telling you, this is a hidden gem that needs to be unveiled. So we're going to unveil it today with Miss Queen Sally. But before we bring on the queen, I just can't just bring on the platform just like, ta-da, here's Sally. I need to make sure I do her justice. So soon as this one video is done, we will be right back with Queen Sally and talk to her about her business and what she's doing for the world. Hello, Queen.
Hello, thank you for that video. I've never seen that before. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, we can put it, our little crew puts the little videos together. I want to make sure it's special for each guest. So hopefully thank you that you liked it.
I loved it. The one picture where I'm in a little golf cart, that was Wrigley Stadium. We got walked out because of that, and it's a whole joke. I'm infamous at Wrigley Stadium now. So
I know. Oh, you
I didn't drive the cart. I was just sitting in it. They're like, you have to leave now. So
oh my God, that is really extreme.
My boyfriend's a huge Red Sox fan, so that's why we took the picture. And I'm like, I got kicked out because of you. So
oh, well, at least you got the picture.
Well, we got the picture, and it's a great story.
It's a great story behind it, so that's good. Yes. I picked the right one.
Yes.
Well, before we start, lady, and like I said, I told you I was called Women Queens. So you'll be hearing that throughout the conversation. I want to thank you for coming on the Coaches Lounge. for heeding to my ask, which
Well,
I
Barbara,
did on the
thank you.
platform. So
Thank you, because so many people have not heard about this, and you're going to help people save federal taxes and
Ooh.
state taxes. It's an important topic. So thank you for having me.
Well, yeah, and I said, I know in the back room, I always call the back room virtual green room, that we were talking to. You're saying that this is something that people really need to understand, that they don't know, and they think that it might not be legit, but it is totally.
Yes.
I'm putting it out there to everybody, is legit, and it's something that's needed, that you need to hear. So I just want to just get right into it. I want to ask, before you do start kind of giving you some detail about how it works and what you do with individuals, your clients, what made you just start this? I mean, I always like to get that little backstory of people. So what made you just say, okay, Sally, I'm going to get into this thrift, this spending, and really make people understand what it is?
I appreciate that. It has to go back a little bit further. Back when I was a senior in high school, my high school was Robert E. Perry High School in Rockville, Maryland. We only had juniors, sophomores, and seniors. They closed my school. I was the last graduating class because I'm 1966. I'm the baby buster, the baby boom and everything else. We had Ronald Reagan's economic advisor come in to talk to us. And he's like, oh, you sophomores, oh, you juniors, oh, you seniors, if things don't change, you might not have Social Security when you turn 65. I'm like, I'm a stupid 17-year-old kid going, you're full of it, So it's always been in my back of my mind. Mm-hmm. Fast forward, October of 2018, I'm a Medicare broker. People turning 65. Unfortunately, so many people turning 65 are broke. My oldest nephew is getting married in Charlotte. My mom and dad drive from Goodyear, Arizona, which is about 20 miles west of Phoenix, cross country to Charlotte. My mom got sick along the way. She got septic of the blood. She was on a ventilator for 13 months, in a hospital for 15 months. Thank God my dad was retired military. She got TRICARE for life. I was living in Phoenix. I was going out to their house 3 times a week. In December of 2028, it was a 27-page letter, folded in half. It was her Medicare statement for the month of November. Mm-hmm. You open it up, big, bold, black letters, $172,000 to be on a ventilator in Pineville, North Carolina. Mm-hmm. My mom is getting the best care possible. We're not financially stripped, but I'm standing in their kitchen and I'm like, I have credit card debt. Mm-hmm. I have student loan debt. I have a mortgage. Mm-hmm. I had a brand new car, Silly Sally. I'm an insurance agent. I went through a major road in Phoenix, Indian School Road. I was the second car to go through on a green light. The guy ran the red light, T-boned the side of my car. I wasn't injured, had no insurance. I had 2 car payments. I'm broke. I'm living paycheck to paycheck. So in my parents' kitchen, I literally call my friend Glenn, who's a real estate investor. He's like, hey, great to hear from you. We're having a Christmas party next Saturday. Come. I'm like, okay, I know you and your wife. And he's like, oh, we're going to be late. Just show up early. I'm like, I'm going to a party by myself? I don't know about you, Barbara.
I know. It's like, what?
It was the hardest thing I did, but the best thing I did. I started real estate investing, paying off debt. I'm going to be honest. I self-directed my IRA. Mm-hmm. I'm paying off debt, doing things, making good money, being a real estate investor, and working full-time as a Medicare broker.
Wow.
True story. It's November of 2019. It's November 28th, 2019. We were on a call campaign in Texas. I had talked to this woman for an hour back in earlier November. She's turning 65. She's got a 3-month window. She has to start her Medicare plan by the end of November. She calls me back. She's like, Sally, we're having a great conversation. She goes, I moved. She moved 4 miles into New Mexico. Can't help it, but I'm licensed in New Mexico. So I issue her a policy. She's got 3 days to get this policy issued. I got fired because of that. Wow. Next day, I wholesaled a house and I made $8,000. I never went back to horrible jobs, working anyplace else. I love real estate investing. Fast forward to July of 2020, I took down a contract. It was a bank-owned reverse mortgage in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, an hour east of Raleigh. I'm in Phoenix. I paid $20,000 for the contract. It would go to auction for $50,000. I would make $30,000 in between. Woohoo! That's easy. No hammer, no nothing.
No, that's good.
July of 2020, middle of COVID, all the court systems are shut down. So I had 13 months to figure out, because of my taxes, I knew that $30,000, I was going to pay $7,110 in capital gains on that one piece of property. In my national real estate group, I'm in the Phoenix group. In my national real estate group, a gentleman named Garrett Gunderson wrote a book called What the Billionaires Do. If somebody wants a copy of it, he's changed the name to, it was What the Rockefellers Do. He changed the name to What the Billionaires Do. I have the paperback copy. I scoured it. My background, insurance and competitive intelligence. I started calling people, finding out about this. I found the private law firm in Texas that has a patent on this trust. It's legal. It's in the IRS tax code 643B, like Bravo. I became a client. I took that contract, the bank-owned contract. I Googled bill of sale. That's all I did. I wrote up 2 bill of sales, one from my LLC to my own name, second bill of sale from my name to the trust. At the bank, I had to hand her $10. Here's $10 consideration. She notarized it. And then when she did the other letter, she handed the $10 back to me, scanned those letters, sent it to the attorney in Raleigh. Next day, the attorney says, I need the first page of your trust. Send it to him in Raleigh. August 28th, 2021, my little property, a 4-bedroom, 1-bath house. The woman had passed away 4 years earlier, but nobody's been in it that long. It goes to auction for over $64,000. Yay, Sally. I'm going to make $44,000 on that one deal doing nothing other than what I did. The better thing about this, Barbara, because I put it in the trust, I saved $10,550 in capital gains. Loved it. Wow. So I started teaching a mastermind in my Phoenix real estate group, teaching real estate investors. Things are going great. I started my own company, The Trust Is You, in March of 2020, because I want to help as many people out there with this trust. So if you don't mind me, I'm talking a lot. It's legal, it's patented, it's in the IRS tax code. It comes from England, back when King Henry VIII started the Church of England, way back in history. The law firm I work on behalf of has a trust that's turning 350 years old in 2023. It's been in front of the Supreme Court twice. I mean, you can't get more legal than this. Wow. And, people who, there's a business trust for 1099 income people, and then the beneficial trust for investors. You're going to stop paying capital gains, interest income, dividend income, rental income, and royalties with the beneficial Spendthrift Trust. With the business trust, I'm not trying to make fun of you living in Chicago, but this is a true client. He sells lighting equipment. He makes $10,000 a month selling lighting equipment nationwide. His tax rate is 24%. He's going to save, I'm looking at my numbers, so I have to apologize. I have to go over because I'm bad. I'm dyslexic. I get things mixed up. He's going to save $20,160 in federal taxes. And because he lives in Chicago, in Illinois, you have a 4.95% state taxes you have to pay every year. He's going to save that too. So that's an extra $2,000 he's saving year after year after year. So the first year, he's only going to save a little bit of money because he has to pay for the trust. But 2024, he's going to save over $23,000. 2005, over $25,000. And his name is Jim. He says to me, I don't work very hard. I only work 3 days a week because I'm paying too much in taxes. Now he's going to work harder because he's going to start saving taxes. This is an amazing thing. And you're working with coaches. Coaches are going to get charged 1099 income. Yes. We can help them save so much money so easily.
Yeah. And I'm glad. Well, first of all, thank you for that. Oh, wonderful.
So much information. I'm sorry.
Golden information for us to know. Again, when you don't know, you don't know. But when you do know, you do better. I always tell people.
Exactly.
So getting this information, Sally, is awesome. And I just want to ask the question for the viewers out there that's listening is, Now, I know you say you help the 1099 income earners. So if anybody has like a W-2, does it work for them too or no? It's just
unfortunately no. W-2. To be honest, with my beneficial trust in my real estate group, we have a lot of nurses. I have 6 nurses, and at the time it was 5 teachers. One teacher has now retired. She's got her pension. They're real estate investors. So everything they're doing with the real estate, they're saving taxes. What they're doing with their W-2 or with the one teacher with the pension, that's outside of what I can help them with, because you've got to pay your FICA score, your FICA, your state taxes, things like that. So your question is a brilliant question. 1099 income or investors. So my nurses, they're filing 2 different. The Spendthrift Trust files a 1041 federal tax return. 97% of people in the United States file a 1040 tax return. So my nurses and my teachers are filing 2 different federal tax returns, one as a 1041 and one as a 1040, and then their state taxes, because I can't help them with their W-2 income. 2 of my nurses have completely retired from nursing, and that's all they're doing is real estate investing and other investing. They don't have to worry about that anymore. But again, W-2, I don't want to say it's, they say 60% of Americans have a side hustle.
Yeah.
If you're doing a side hustle, most side hustles pay you in 1099 income. That side hustle would be okay through the trust. Coaches normally get paid 1099. Some coaches I talk to, I don't mean to make fun of them, but if you are being paid as W-2 income as a coach, it's the most expensive way to be paid with as a coach. You should be a 1099 income person at least.
Thank you for stressing that, Sally, because I've noticed a few coaches that I met, and I was like, what are you doing? Why are you doing the W-2 for that? You should be doing 1099. And I'm glad that you mentioned about the nurses, as an example of, and a lot of people are in this predicament too. We're not predicament, but this is what their business. They have their business side hustles, you want to call it.
Correct. Side hustle.
Then they have their maybe corporate job. And I want to say, I'm putting my hand in because that's me. I mean, during the day, I got the corporate. During all the other times of the day, I have my business that I work on. So
Barbara, I was the same way. I was a Medicare broker. I was making salary and I was making commission. And then I was a real estate investor. And, so we're leading a double life, Exactly. And good for those who are doing a side hustle. All I want to say to them is congratulations. You're not sitting there watching Netflix, or you're not sitting there bemoaning the fact that, you're trying to make your life a little bit better. A statistic I use, if you don't mind, bankrate.com in November 2021 says 80% of Americans, so somebody Barbara, maybe it might be a brother, maybe it's your mom, maybe it's my sister, 80% of Americans have $90,000 in debt and are not saving 10% for retirement. Those are ugly numbers. Back to my mom, she was on a floor in Pineville, North Carolina. There were 24 people on her floor on ventilators at December 2028. On December 31st, 2028, 4 different family members went in, took their family members off the ventilator, took their loved one home to die because they could not afford the deductible on January 1st, 2019. The respiratory therapist is in my mom's room, tears just running down her eyes. And I'm like, I know what's happening. I'm a Medicare broker. They're going to have a $2,000 deductible or up to a $20,000 deductible, and people can't afford that. I can't tell you, Barbara, how lucky I was. My dad could afford my mom to be in the hospital for 15 months. We got her home. She lost her memory for 13 months. We got her home. I got to talk to her. I had an extra 3 months with my mom before she died, and it was the most special time ever. The last thing I did for her was I gave her a shower. You had to get changed because I had to get to work by 10 o'clock. Last thing I said to her was like, hey, Mom, I'll see you tomorrow for dinner. She goes, I love you. She died later that day of a heart attack. And the last words my mom said to me was she loved me. I'm going to tear up. Sorry.
That's awesome.
But I mean, an extra 3 months with my mom.
Yes.
If my dad didn't have TRICARE for Life, we would have been, I'll be be honest, we would have been in a complete world of hurt
Yes.
because her medical bill, $172,000 every single month. That's astronomical. People can't afford that.
Yes, that's a whole.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
that's a whole other story of its own with the whole
yes.
medical and all the payment and expenses that we pay. So yeah, for them to think that we can afford it, if we didn't have certain things in place, like you said,
Yes.
half the people wouldn't be, cared for at all and would leave this earth a little bit earlier because of the things that they couldn't afford. I mean,
Exactly. Those I don't know who the four people were. Like I didn't go walking around the hospital, but
mhm,
4 people on December 31st, 2018. Maybe they lived for another few days. I don't know, but the
mhm,
respiratory therapist knew they were going home to die. Who wants to do that to their loved one? I mean, they're not being callous. They're looking at their bills saying, we can't afford this anymore. And that's scary. I don't want that. I don't want you, Barbara, to have to make that decision for a loved one. I don't want someone who's listening to your Coach's Corner have a solution. I'm offering a solution to help people save taxes and to plan their future, if that makes sense. Make things better for you now, the future, and generation after generation.
Well, I thank you so much. Like I said, this is information. Like I said, I love bringing, especially you and other experts that have something that is in place, but then people don't know because we weren't told or it wasn't stated enough, or we just don't have. It's like buried in a whole bunch of information,
Exactly.
and we're not paying attention. And now you come along, Mrs. Guru, and basically say, this is what is neat for 1099. This is what you have. There
Yes.
is, light at the end of the tunnel when it comes to, the taxes, dealing with your investments and all that, and you can save money and even make more money. So
correct. You're making money. Save the taxes on the money you're making. Coaches work hard. It's not a fluff job. Coaches work hard. Someone doing a side hustle, they're trying to make their lives a little bit better. My national real estate group, just to give you an idea, we call him Average Joe. The person who's joining my national real estate group is a 56-year-old man trying to change things in the next 9 years before he retires. There's different ages and different things like that, but the average person joining the real estate, start involved in real estate. Real estate changed my life. I do well with real estate, but helping people don't know this. If you don't mind me telling another story, when someone sells a business in the United States, the U.S. federal government is going to take what you paid for the business and what you sold the business for, that in between, they're either going to charge you 15% or 20% on the sale of the business to pay capital gains. True story. A 28-year-old son saw a TikTok video. He says, hey, Dad, you're selling your family restaurant, a 42-year-old family restaurant in Paducah, Kentucky. I can't pronounce it, Paducah, Kentucky. He says the father had never been on Zoom. His name's Bob. The father's never been on Zoom. Another child, grown adult, puts him on Zoom. We talked about it. He started it. He built the building. So he's going to sell it for $3 million. He's 69. His wife is 68. They're moving to Florida. They got their business broker to change the contract. He saved $450,000 at 15%. Or $600,000 at 20%. His wife calls me in tears. Like the Tennessee number. I'm like, ooh, who is this? I pick it up. She's calling me in tears. She's like, what if I fall down the stairs and break my hip? What if he has a stroke? What if one of us has a heart attack? The $460,000 changes their retirement.
wow.
The business broker who's out of Ohio, he's like, I've got more clients for you. Yes. I give affiliate marketing. If someone refers somebody to me, I give them $600. So the business broker says to the guy who bought the restaurant, it's his 7th restaurant. He goes, you need to talk to Sally. She can help you save 1099 income. The business broker got $600 that way. The gentleman now with 7 restaurants, he's saving. We're not even going to discuss how much money he's making. He's in the again, he goes from 10% to 37% tax bracket, 7 different layers. This guy, the 7 restaurants, he's up in the 37% tax bracket. We're saving him thousands of dollars. It's a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful thing. Well, lady, I mean, I can just, so I'm sitting here just learning and growing with you. And I was like, what a time. But I want to ask before, because what I'm going to do is take myself down for 30 seconds, just so you give any lasting thoughts for the audience. But before I do that, I wanted to ask again, because I know, like you said, you help the 1099 earners, income earners. How do you like start off? Just a quick, like, once somebody comes and say, yeah, I own my own business, then from that point, what do you do with them? What's like the little process that you take them through?
The whole process is there's a 5-page contract. It's giving you information. The trust must be paid by wire transfer or by a cashier's check. Unfortunately, we can't take a credit card. Too many people cancel them. I have helped people like the business brokers. Last in June, someone was selling an HVAC business, started from scratch. He was selling it for $1.7 million. He started the trust in June. We sent him the EIN. He opened up a bank account. The business broker changed the letter of intent. When they went to the signing table on June 30th, the new bank account was paid. The gentleman who sold the HVAC company paid for the trust on July 3rd. I got paid July 5th. 4th of July was involved. I got paid July 5th. I sent the business broker made $1,200 on that because the gentleman who bought the HVAC company started the business trust. And then he also told his client selling it. And I have to apologize. I have to do this real quick because I'm bad with numbers. 1.7 million times.
Yeah, I'm the same way. That's why I love calculators.
Exactly. So we know he saved at least $255,000 at 15%. So let me clear this out. 1.7. I mean, when the business broker told him to talk to me, he's like, my business broker tells me you can save me thousands of dollars. I'm like, yes, I can. And when we had a conversation, and at 20%, he saved $340,000. Wow. This gentleman, he's started the business back in the 80s. His knees are killing him. He wants to retire early. He's going to save so much money because his business broker looked out for him. Wow. The gentleman who bought the HVAC company is going to save so much money because the business broker's like, hey, talk to Sally. What you're doing for me, Barbara, today to have me on your coaches lounge. Thank you for letting me get the word out there because I want to help as many people. I had somebody on TikTok tell me I'm anti-American. I'm not. Oh I love this country, but the rich, the Rockefellers have this trust. U.S. presidents have this trust. I'm going to bring up a bad name. O.J. Simpson has this trust. O.J. Simpson got sued $135 million by the Goldman family. That lawsuit, they can't claim on it because everything O.J. has is in this trust. Wow. He's saving so much money, his real estate. If the rich know this, and most people don't know tax laws, the IRS tax code only went into effect in 1913. The Rockefellers and other rich families purposely set up the tax code so they could save money. There's a little bit of a safety net for poor people. There's a safety net for the rich people. It's the in-between middle class people. Yes. We're getting squeezed. And I found out about it because I got curious and went down a rabbit hole, and I want to tell other people about this.
I'm glad you went down that rabbit hole because it's helping out so many people. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take myself down just for 30 seconds. I want you, anything else that you want to give to the audience, and then we'll wrap it up and I'll make sure they know how to contact you. So I'll be right back.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Hello, my name is Sally Gimon. My website, thetrustisyou.com, has an 18-minute video about the slide deck. On Monday, I had a gentleman who got bad advice from his CPA saying this was false. The book that the trust attorneys study in law school is called Scott and Asher on Trust, 5th edition. I ask CPAs and financial advisors to please download that book. I would love to help you save 1099 income and investment income with the 2 different trusts. Reach out to me. I do Zooms and I do a live every Monday night, 8 p.m. East Coast time. Ooh,
Awesome.
I almost got it off on time.
Yes, you did good, lady. You did good. I'm glad that I always want people to make sure you get that last thought, because you never know something information that you might have didn't say within the talk that we had that
Correct.
you really want people to really bring home. So thank you so much, Sally. This has been amazing. And lady, I always tell people, once you're on my show, you're family to me. So anytime you want to come back, give more information about what you do with the trust, it's you, and just like I said, some teachable moments. This was
Correct.
a
Correct.
lot of good teachable moments that you gave us in this conversation, because like I said, I didn't know any of this.
Correct.
And yeah.
In that 30 seconds, I purposely said the textbook that trust attorneys study. I want the CPAs to know this. I want the, financial advisors to know this. To give you an idea, one of my clients, he inherited his dad's stock portfolio, 100 shares of the top 100 dividend-paying companies. We are saving him $17,000 every quarter times 4. Don is saving $68,000 a year in dividend income. His broker, Jules, had to change the stock certificates. She's like, I'm not making any money on this. I'm like, Jules, refer more people to me. She's referred to me 9 more clients. They're saving taxes. They're sending more clients to Jules. Jules has more people she's working with. It's a win-win-win
Win-win.
for everybody.
All the way around.
Exactly.
Wow. Wow. Well, Sally, thank you so much again for coming on the Coaches Lounge. And to tell people, please reach out to Sally. Even like I said, even if you're saying, well, this might not, because I'm maybe a W-2 person only or whatever, but a lot of people, that have their own business that would need to know this. And I'm putting that out there. I'm stressing that. So Sally,
thank you, Barbara.
I truly appreciate you, appreciate what you're doing. And we will be next week back on the Coaches Line with another wonderful expert just like Sally to come on and talk about something in their lane, to spotlight them and to make sure you build a relationship through the interview. And then at that time, take action and reach out, because I always tell people, everybody needs a coach in their life in what you're doing. So take care. We'll see you next week. And thanks again, Sally. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Barbara.
Check out my observation. Check out my observation. Check out my observation.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Oh, well, first of all, thank you, Sally, for that wonderful, wonderful interview. Like I said, people come on my show and I'm learning. Just like you're out there with a pen and a piece of paper taking notes, and hopefully you are, because these are some awesome coaches coming on, just to let you know. Please do that, because you never know what you don't know, right? And then the awareness of just learning and growing is a gift. I always tell people, once you're aware of something, once you learn something, once somebody told you and explained something to you, then it's on you. I always tell people, well, you don't know what you don't know. But when you do know, and when you do learn and come aware of it, and that's why I love bringing on the wonderful coaches, educators, and consultants, because when they make you aware of things, when they make you aware of who they are first and aware of other stuff, then you don't really have any excuse to say, well, I don't know if there's coaches out there like that, or I didn't know about, like Sally was talking about with the 1099ers. Anybody has their own business. There's a way to save taxes. There's a way to make sure when you retire, you're not sitting there. Well, I hate to say it like this, but people are doing this, eating dog food. It gets to that point where they're not saving their money. They don't have enough to even get food. And I've known people like that. So let's make sure that we have an open mind, understanding what's going on, and prepare. Prepare. So with that said, we're going to prepare, go right into my wonderful second coach that's coming on. This lady is a queen of queens. Now, I always call the ladies that come on queens. You know that. And because they're royalty. Well, this lady is the queen bee. Her name is Dr. Monica Y. Jackson, Ph.D. Yes, I'm saying that. Yes, so you already need to listen. The unapologetic, authentic encourager is known to her students and colleagues as Dr. Monica. She is a multi talented entrepreneur with educational, technology, instructional, design, leadership, and higher education, serving as an administrator and professor. She is also a certified WalkMe solution engineer and a certified WalkMe project manager. She is a visionary and event planner for the T4 Trials, Triumph, Truth, and Tears, and M4 Man Message Mission Movement Virtual Summits. OMG. That's all I have to say. The lady has skills. And she's coming on this show, and she's a celebrity to me. So, with that said, let me just do the honors to bring on this wonderful queen. We're going to get a chance to talk to her, get a chance to know her. And I'm really interested in the men's summit, because a lot of times you hear a lot of women, which we all got. Hey, I love the women. We love each other and stuff. But when you have a woman doing a men's conference, that's powerful. Men need to be put out there more, and you need to understand it. So we're going to get a little tag of that when she comes on. But I just can't bring on the queen, just throw her on this. Here she goes. I got to do it. I got to do it the right way. So we will be right back after this one little clip. I seen her dance. Hello. Hey, Queen.
Hello, Queen. How are you this morning?
I am doing fabulous because you're on this show. I get a chance to have a little talk with you and share you with my wonderful audience. So, yes, doing great. So, first, before we start,
thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming. That's what I was about to say. Thank you for being on the show. And hearing my call. That's what I always tell people, because I be reaching out and putting stuff out there saying, hey, everybody want to come? And you heard my call and took the time out to say, okay, I'll come on the Coaches Lounge. So first of all, thank you for that. And, just reading just a little spurt of, that was small compared to everything. I mean, that we kind of summed it up in the bio, but you are huge in what you're doing. You are definitely a lighthouse to the world, as I say. Lighthouse to the world. And I just want you to take that. Or anything else, you take that, because I want to make sure that you understand that you're that lighthouse. But lady, I want to first, because there's a lot of good things that you have. I always like to pull the curtain back, because it's nice to know how people got started. It's nice to know, how did you become this, amazing, authentic encourager. I love that title. And being unapologetic about it, which I totally believe in. So can you just give a little taste of that before we get into some other things you do?
Well, first of all, good morning, and thank you, and good morning to your audience and your platform. It's a great honor to be here this morning, and to be on this side of the land of the living as well, and in my right mind, hopefully. But you asked me, how did I get here? I'm going to say 3 words: pain, struggle, and wounds. Pain births purpose, struggles birth strength, and wounds birth wisdom. And from that, authenticity is birthed from your adversities. There's absolutely no other way without pain, without struggle, wounds, or adversities. Why do I say that? Because we have been taught what to be, how to be, how to look, what to say, what not to say, who to love, where to go. All someone else told us, who didn't have right direction, who did what they were told to do. So from birth, we're taught to go to school. We're taught to go to college. We're taught to get married. We're told about things that happen in our past. We're told to believe in some higher power, God, Jehovah, whoever you desire. But there's flaws in everything. And we fight about so much that we don't know. So I speak about my lived experiences, not what I was taught, not what I thought, not my beliefs, because these things I don't know. Now, some people have that faith and believe in those things. Because of my pains, because of my struggles, because of my wounds, it has transformed my beliefs and who I am. And it's taken me to a place of greater peace, confidence, joy, and nonconformance.
Whew, you know what? We just have to sit in that for a second because that was very powerful. I mean, I was like, oh, let me grab my notebook because you just dropped some golden nuggets there about the pain, the struggle, and the adversity, right? And
And the wounds.
and the wounds. And I was just thinking about that. A lot of times, in fact, I learned that through all that, you can make that decision to say, okay, I want to be that person to be like, oh, woe was me with all of that happened in life, or I'm going to make a decision and go to a different direction, even though the hurt was there, even though the pain was there. And, you know, a lot of times we can justify why the way, you know, we can just go that route, right? We can justify, say, well, you know, I was hurt when I was young. I was bullied. I was this, I was that. So that's why I am the way I am. But you took that and said, no, we're going to go beyond that. We're going to use this now. This is going to be a learning experience in my life and then hopefully for others to understand that your pains and your wounds, everything don't have to keep you in that cycle. So I'm loving that.
And my internet must be cutting up because I'm not sure what you said at the end. It's going in and out. I think it's my end. But repeat your question, please.
Well, I was just kind of going back what you were saying about the wounds and the pains and the struggles and how we can
Yes.
take that either going the wrong way and use as an excuse not to get things done in life and not to move in your purpose, or say, you know what, I'm taking this and this is going to be a guide for me to say, no, I'm not going to let this stop me from what I had to do. Plus, I can help others if they're going through some similar, you know, going through their pains and wounds so they can move forth in life. That's what I wanted just to comment on that. Yeah.
And you know what? Let me touch on that making excuses point. The reason why excuses are made is because we haven't tapped into our authentic self. We're still trying to be what been passed down to us generationally, religiously, what's widely accepted, what's politically correct. And so we to try to fit that mold and to get people to like us and to be what other people want us to be and to be accepted, that's where your struggle comes in. So until you get to the point of, you know what, I don't care what nobody think about me. When you get to that point and truly believe that and know it, and places in life and in experiences in life forces you to that, that's when you don't make excuses anymore. The things I say, they may not be politically correct, but guess what? I can tell you there's someone who's needed to hear what I said. There's someone who was waiting for me to say what I said. Someone's waiting for me to show up. And because I showed up, it can help them through. So don't say that. Don't talk like that. Don't do this. Don't do that. Why? Well, at first initially it's to make me uncomfortable, because then we're Black women. So therefore, we have these issues. We're too strong. We say the wrong things. We're too independent. No, we're being us. And we need to understand that just because you are around someone, that may not be who you're supposed to be with. And so everyone is not going to go with you. Everybody is not going to like you. You can't make anyone like you. I don't expect people to like me, but I require them to respect me. I don't have any control over what they do. So I expect nothing from anyone. I require things from them because the requirements are what I set and what I can control. So we have to learn to switch expectations to requirements. And parents, allow children to grow and you get to know them, not trying to live through them, not trying to get them to believe what you believe. Take the route that you took, go to college and do all these things. If someone is not ready for college, they're wasting money, they're wasting time. They're not mature enough to go just yet, regardless. So you're pushing people to do things. And, just like people say, well, we're just going to, do this or do that. People are not going to change until they're ready to change, period. And so the frustration becomes when you're trying to get people to change and conform to your way of thinking, your way of doing things, your beliefs, and you don't know any of that. It's been passed down to you. So you really don't know. You've accepted something that somebody else told you. And so I'm not in a place of accepting what somebody else has told me. I question everything now. I question the question now because I don't see people walking the walk that they talk. So I they're not an example for me anymore. And so therefore, I can't align with that belief because my lived experiences outweighs my taught experiences.
Ooh, boy, that's another golden nugget, Queen. Oh my God. Oh my God. I love how you are owning yourself, like you said. You can't be, because you were reminding me of something that I used to deal with in my life, which I feel like I overcame that, still just a little bit, but I overcame a lot of it, and that's being a people pleaser. Because when I was younger, I was bullied heavily when I was really young. So I didn't think I was worthy. I mean, I feel like I had no value. So that was in my head when I was younger. So I always thought that I had to please everybody, and started with my mother because she was the one that seemed like she was never satisfied in anything I did. Love her dearly, not doubting her, not putting her down, but that's what she was taught, how to, raise children, because that was in her mind, and people put that in her mind, of being tough and saying, no, whatever you do, you're not doing enough. You got to do this. You're not doing enough. It was an ongoing cycle. So with that in my head, I always thought I had to please everybody to live. And when I got in my 20s and then found out, oh, wait a minute, I'm not liking it. This is not me. Why do I have to keep pleasing everybody else? And then I'm putting myself in the corner. and then that's when you own that. Yeah. Correct. Oh, go ahead.
And you said that you didn't, I forgot what you said about you not liking yourself, not knowing. But do you realize, I don't know what your religious background is, but I grew up in Christianity. But do you realize some of the things that have been taught to us and what we say? We come here believing we were shaped in sin and born in iniquity. Okay, we come here with those that pass down. What is that telling us? Not to like ourselves. Something's wrong with us. We don't love ourselves. I mean, we have to really think about the things that are passed down to us And I think because the wounds that I've gone through, the wounds that I sustained initially came from the church and then my family. And I'm going to show something. My book, Wounds of Wisdom, is what started this journey.
Wow.
7 chapters, 7 topics. Start to unpack the teachings of Christianity. You have to scratch your head. You have to literally scratch your head. Okay, well, why can't I, love myself? Why can't I show and be proud of my accomplishments and the things that I've done? But people will say that, you're bragging, you're being boastful. And it's not. But if God made us fearfully and wonderfully and in his image, then if I'm a representation of him, then I need to operate in that and walk in that. On the flip side, when you see other people doing things, and if they're still saying that they're made in his image and likeness, well, whose image are we whose image is accurate? I'm just saying, when I tell you I'm in a place of questioning, I don't just blindly accept anything anymore. I don't. And that's across the board. That's the workplace. I don't look to be valued in the workplace anymore. I don't look to move up the corporate ladder. I don't even say that I should be paid what I'm worth. And here's the reason why. I can't control anybody else's policies, procedures, what they decide, their biases. So guess what? I have to switch that. Let me use this company. I'm working for them for this purpose. I don't need them to validate me and my talents. I know my talents. I know my strengths. And I want people to learn to love themselves enough to love themselves, give themselves permission to love themselves. But you can't do that if you don't know what love is. When the world has torn you down, when the church has torn you down, when your family has torn you down, when your friends walk away, you have to question what love is. And so you have to, sometimes you have to remove yourself, or God has to remove people from you so that you can get to your authentic self. And when you get to that place of authenticity, of loving yourself first, not last, mothers, on the plane, it said, put on your oxygen mask first, then the child. Take care of mama first, then the child. Take care of mama first, then the husband. Take care of mama first. Okay. We're not taught that. And so many people lose themselves in their husbands, in their wives, in their children, and no longer know who they are. That's why when people die, people are so devastated. We've gotten so wrapped up and tight in who the person is deceased. We all gonna leave here. Why isn't death taught as a normal activity in life? And here's the other thing. Okay, Christians, if we don't see them again, why are we so remorseful? If we go see them again, big emphasis on if. I'm just saying.
That's doctor, that is a good point. That's you making some good points. Yeah, I mean, I always ask myself that too. I'm glad that you see you question the question. I love that because I do the same thing now. Like I was just saying a little while ago, how I grew up people pleaser because I was younger. Like I said, no bad. I didn't think I had bad, but then I found out I was like that awareness, like you just said. No, if God is telling me that I'm in His, basically, if I have Him in my life, then I have all the stuff that He has.
Yes.
And I should be saying that, hey, look, I am wonderfully made. I am this and that. Why am I sitting here doubting myself? So I had to kick myself from saying, no, Barbara, no. And I love how you said, you got so much with, when you sat there and said about why I don't need anybody to validate me or value me.
Yes.
You talking about corporate, you talking about just anywhere, church, everywhere. And I was like, that is so powerful. because that if we can just move that out of our way, there'll be so much more freedom that you have with yourself. Because you know you're not trying to be validated by everybody else. Like you said, they got their policies, got whatever. Hey, and you decide to do what you have to do. They're lucky to have Dr. Monica.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. let's really change this thing around and tell you the truth.
Yes. And it's not an arrogance. It's not a conceit. It's a confidence.
Yeah.
And I want everyone that I encounter to walk in confidence.
You owe it to yourself.
Walk in confidence, whatever that is, wherever you are. And your confidence today may not be the confidence tomorrow, and it may not be the same confidence as yesterday. Walk in it, whatever it is. Choose it. Choose it.
Oof. Wow, lady. Well, I could be talking to you for a whole nother hour. And I look at the time like, oh my God. Oh, this is so good. Okay, so I want to make sure that I give you just a little bit, some seconds here to talk to the audience. Any last thoughts that you have for them? And then I'll make sure that they can get their contact information. So I'll be right back. And then I want you to leave some other wisdom or whatever you want to leave for the audience.
Okay. One of the things I would like to share is that I am hosting an M4 Summit. That's Men with a Message on a Mission, Creating a Movement. And I believe that God dropped that in my spirit. And the reason why is because I have 12 men, which I call the dynamic dozen, who are speaking their raw, real truth about their trials, triumphs, truths, and tears. And you can go over to drmonicajackson.com/M4 Summit, find out more information about that and the speakers. And one of the things that I really am honing in on is giving men a platform and a voice to speak their truths and for women to hear. So much information out there is about men understanding women, but there's nothing out there for women to understand men. And quite frankly, ladies, if you heard me along this broadcast, we have been taught what to think about men, whether it's through what our father taught us, the absence of a father, religiously, and just experiences from friends. But we need to hear what a man feels and believes from his mouth and break down these myths that have been passed down, because men do speak, men do communicate, and ladies, men do feel. And so we need to understand that and meet them where they are, not try to change them or conform them to our narrative. Because if he's not that way for you, then that's not the man for you. So you need to learn to embrace the man for his authenticity. Respect him for that. You know, I heard one of our speakers say that, you know, a man doesn't need love. No, he needs respect. I said, ooh, wee. Now, how many ladies you had heard that before? I had to hear that from a man. He said men want respect, not love. But here's on the flip side. When you give respect, you're showing love. And if you respect, you're going to love. Your actions are going to speak in love. So I invite you to come to the M4 Summit. Again, go over to drmonicajackson.com/M4 Summit. And you can see about our prior summit as well, T4, Trials, Triumphs, Truths, and Tears.
Wow, Dr. Queen. Thank you so much. And you know what, I just wanted to say, I know we didn't have time because I really wanted to do a little more deep dive in what, like you said, God gave you far as the men's summit that you put together, that you're over, basically, you put all that together, and you see that was a need. See, that's what I want to say. When you see there's a need and people don't really understand certain things, that's why you say to yourself, I'm going to make you aware of that. Let me bring on these men so they can explain. And you're right. Yes. A lot of times we don't understand. Sometimes you're on the men's side of it. And I think if they had more summits like what you do, it would make it men and women's relationships, I totally believe this, would be better because we understand each other just a little bit more, and we took the time out to do that. So I have to give you so much kudos on putting this summit together and continue to do it. See, I love how you're doing that. It's all the artists, it's ongoing and it's needed. So I just want to just tell you great success to you. I always tell people once you come on my show, your family. So you can always come back. Always come back and share every wealth that you have and everything. So with that said, Doctor, thank you again for coming on the Coaches Lounge. Also, I just want everybody to know that, we'll be back next Friday with 2 other coaches. And as I always say, we spotlight these experts. Please reach out to Dr. Monica. Anything that she was saying was powerful. But if you want to have a one-on-one with her or a group coaching, she has that. She has a lot of that. If you just visit her website there, and you'll see everything was about her. That's why I bring on the coach, because I want you to get to understand and know them just a tad. And now that you do, what I always said before, there's no excuse that you're not reaching out to the people that you need in your life to help you move the needle to the next level in your life. So with that said, we will see you next Friday. Take care, and always, always, always look at your gifts as golden and be that lighthouse to the world. See you next week. Thank you, Dr. Monica.
Bye. Thank you.